morning, YouTube land. This is Phoenix Dingo. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry I'm looking really rough, but I just wanted to do a quick video before I went into work. Um, so, what I wanted to talk about was about how Elizabeth Warren has been talking about breaking up big companies. And Mark Zuckerberg was talking about how they would sue the government. And this is kind of, to me, it reminds me of when Obama was going to do the whole insurance thing. And I think the danger is that one was necessary. However, this one, I don't think so much is. And one obviously is that had to do with the health of most of Americans. And though I do agree that a lot of these companies might be getting too big, I think on the flip side, when you're talking about doing something like that, the the fallout from it is it pretty much falls on us. For instance, when it came down to the insurance, if you notice, one of the big reasons a lot of people didn't like it at first was because they started fighting back with their prices. Um, their prices started like running through the roof. I know that there were many people I knew that their insurance went like to thousands for couples, and they were furious. They blamed Obama, but really it was just the pushback. And then on top of that, a lot of states refused to participate. So, one of the things I worry about is where things are going to fall through when it comes down to the prices of things that are connected with these companies that get broken up. Um, so, me personally, again, yes, I'm Yang because I think his way is better. Going with a way to tax certain items and certain transactions, sorry, still a little bit asleep, um, seems like the better way to go, and then putting the money in our hands because one, that produces a way for people to be more competitive. If, let's say, you have different people selling the same thing, but you have one that wants to do a more fair price, obviously that's where we're going to go. They're going to get more of our money. So if we got $1,000, that means we actually have more money to spend, and the competitiveness would be to get that money because we now have the money to go ahead and buy it. So I kind of worry about these things, especially with the whole thing about um, the internet and having different of the different, I forget what they're called. Anyways, they were talking before about how they might make it so that if you had a certain browser, or you would only be able to go to certain places, things like that. So their greed is what I worry about. You haven't really noticed any of the big ones coming out against Andrew Yang when it comes down to his plan. But when it comes down to Elizabeth Warren, who is the leader, they're talking about legal action. So they're mad, and whatever happens from that, it could either be a retaliation towards one, the government, but the biggest thing I worry about is prices when it comes down to us and how this is going to impact us. We're only looking at Facebook right now. We're only looking at Mark Zuckerberg, Amazon, but what other companies are involved in that, and how is that going to impact us? So that's another thing that we need to think of. I'm not an authority. I don't know everything about this, and no, I am not a credible source. But, you know, just thinking about how when things were going down for the insurance issue, I remember that fallout. So I do worry about her plan when it comes down to this because most of the time when things like this come through, it lands directly in our laps. So again, Andrew Yang, because you would think that when this idea came out and it was getting bigger, people would be getting like the tech people would be like up in arms, like, "Arr, man, they're trying to take our money." But I haven't heard it. I have not heard it. I'm sure there's got to be at least one person who's upset about that who would lose money from it, but I haven't really heard it. As a matter of fact, in contrast, I've actually heard people support and even say that, like, with his free 10 giveaway, not free, the 10 giveaways that he was going to do, they wanted to actually help with the next one if it was determined that it was illegal for him to do it. So it sounds like they're kind of pretty much on board. And I feel like that's the way to go, is when you've got people that seem like they're willing to go through and even help with the process, and they're down with it. I feel like this is the smart way to go. When you're easing into a new transition, I feel like this is the smart way to go. So those are just my little thoughts. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for all the questions about my new job. I love the job. I am a dental coordinator for a disability organization, and it's the largest one down here in Florida. I absolutely love the job because I'm able to help fill in the gaps where these people aren't getting the services that they need. Working here less than a week, I've already found yet another group of people that are not getting the service that they need, because it turns out that a lot of people refuse people with handicaps because they're too difficult to work on. As a result, you have a backlog of people over the entire state who are not getting care and can't get care for these people who have disabilities. It's atrocious. Have you ever had a toothache? That's horrible. It's one of the worst pains I know I've ever experienced in my entire life. And to think that these people have to live with that because they're too difficult, man, we got to do so much better. We have to do so much better. Anyways, I'm going to do another video about that later, but yes, we got to work. We got to fight hard because there's so much at stake, and there's so many people that are not getting the care that they deserve, and Andrew Yang is the way to go. Everyone have a wonderful day. I got to go get ready for work.